Well, obviously coming off of last week's performance, watching video, really the biggest thing from an injury standpoint, Daniel McCarty was out, and he'll be out for the remainder of the year, and so unfortunately for us and for him, he was playing really well. So we expect some of these younger guys to step in and take over our role. And Braylon Hyder did a really good job of stepping in for him. Overall, after watching the video, I was pleased with our effort. I thought we gave good effort. I thought we gave great effort on occasions. And that's something as a staff we have to show these guys what great effort is. Good effort fits in. The great effort stands out. And I think we definitely had some things that stood out at times. And we've got to learn to play with great effort. 46 seconds of relentless effort. It's what we ask of our guys. Was disappointed in the fact that we were shut out in the second half. Felt like that obviously we had a lot of momentum going in at halftime. We didn't execute right before half. Had a mental mistake that we could have at least came away with some points. But give their guys credit. Obviously they did a good job of making adjustments at halftime as well. I think it sums it up in about 2 or 3 different things for the second half. Is we were unable to convert on third down early in the third quarter, and we were very bad on first down and put ourselves in long yardage situations. So those two combinations offensively and the combination of missed tackles, the contacts that were made and unable to get guys on the ground resulted in 246 yards after a hit. And so those things we have to address and get cleaned up. But again, I'm pleased with the effort that we saw. But again, that's no one's pleased with loss. And I've said it once, said it again. I mean, the days of moral victories here are, that's not why I'm here for moral victories. And so we're going to continue to get better. Our guys are going to take the field today, as they did on Sunday night, with a great attitude and a great work ethic, and ready to go for a very tough second ball game in North Texas. It's their home opener, or it's their opener, and I know that those guys will be extremely ready to go, especially opening up the season. Our guys challenge our guys. The embarrassment that they had up there, watching that ball game from last year was very disheartening. So our guys will be excited about getting back out on the field this Saturday for a Saturday night game and perform in front of our fans and our crowd, which I thought was outstanding Saturday night or Friday night. So, questions?
Last year at this time, did you take note of the SMU North Texas game and then what happened afterward with June leaving? Were you thinking then that, hey, that I might pursue that job or anything like that?
Well, no. At this point in time last year, I was trying to figure out, obviously we were coming off of a loss ourselves against Georgia, and we were trying to get things back going. I didn't see the game. I didn't see it till just the other day, and then obviously when they made the change or coach chose to leave, whatever it was, obviously that became national news, and you couldn't help but to think about it at that point. So, but I did not see the game. Did not take note of the game. But I did watch it the other day and didn't think too highly of it.
Did you have your players watch it again?
You know what? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that they'll watch a little bit of it. They got a new defensive coordinator, so Coach Kosh was not there last year, so it's a whole another scheme. But from a personnel standpoint, you'll watch some of that, and our guys will watch some of that. But I think our guys understand that, and they understand the embarrassment that they walked off that field. I think that was their first touchdown that they scored all year. The first it was on the last play of the game, and so. Talking to several of our guys, it was a very disappointing game, circumstance, whatever it may be. I don't know. I wasn't here. I didn't live it, but I watched it, and it was not good. And so, our challenge to our guys is, what can we do right now? It's not about the past. It's about right now. We're not going to forget what happened last year. These guys embarrassed them. They were totally embarrassed. I don't know, 46-6 or 43-6. I don't know what the final was, but it was a close game, and it was just turnover after turnover, and I think they had a couple of defensive scores, and so. But again, we're not going to live in the past. We're going to build on this and build on what happened Saturday night, and be ready to go. And that's one of the things we can control. The only unknown, or the only thing that we know after watching us last week against Baylor, the only thing that we all understand in here is that we're not going to go through the year undefeated. That's the one thing we do know. There's so much in front of us right now. There's 11 games left. We have so much in front of us if we just take the approach of one day at a time. And if we'll come out and give the effort and the intensity and the excitement that we played with last week, and that our fans and our student body had last week, that's what we're after. That's what we're going to gauge where we are again after this week.
How much of an advantage does North Texas have having the week off where they could watch your game against Baylor?
Well, I guess it's a little bit of an advantage because they got at least a chance to see us with our personnel that we have on the field right now and watching us play. So I guess that's an advantage. If that was us, I would be saying that's definitely an advantage. But in the same sense, though, as a coach, you always try to get that first game out of your system, and you try to, because there's a lot of things that are unknown in that first ball game, and especially a first ball game on the road. You just those are things that you try to work through. But obviously, I think the coach has done an unbelievable job. Very well coached program. Knows ball, been around it. Coach Kosh, the defensive coordinator, has been all over the country. He's well known and very sound football coach. I think they have some of the top special teams units in the country. They proved that last year. So very sound in the special teams, and so be a well-coached football team going to be coming in here. And when I say it, and I'll say it every week, that it's about the SMU Mustangs. That's our biggest opponent right now. And to not be satisfied with being average, and being satisfied with just giving good effort. I know there's a lot of excitement, there's a lot of buzz from last Saturday night from our students and our alumni and our former players, and I've gotten so many texts and calls and messages and just saying how excited everyone is, but my message, we want to be excited when and I love the excitement, but let's get this thing right, and it's going to take everybody to lock arms, and we took a big step in that direction Saturday night, and we've got to learn to finish. We can't just play a half or almost a half, or we can't play a half and three quarters. It's 5 minutes and 42 seconds to go in the third quarter, and it's a 28-21 ball game out here, and so we've got to learn to finish.
Losing Daniel's tough. How do you adjust depth-wise with that?
Well, we lost him play 25, and that was unfortunate because he was definitely playing well. We moved Braylon in, and he did a really good job. I think he got some valuable reps, got to get in game shape, moves well. He's got really good feet. He's strong. But it's the next man up. I mean, this is football. Injuries are part of football. It's unfortunate, and very much is. But that's why you have 85 guys on scholarships. Is you got to be able to prepare for this, And you've got to have the mentality in your program of next man up.
How do you think the line had played, or how would you grade them?
I thought for the first half, they executed as well as any unit we had on the field. They really did. I thought as the game wore on, I think that the depth issue from both sides, I think it definitely favored Baylor in some regards. I think that we've got to have more production out of some of our younger guys in the offensive line to be able to trust some guys to get them out on the field to play, to give us an opportunity to have fresh legs in that third and fourth quarter. But our guys knew what to do. They knew who to target and to cover color, is what we would say. And I thought that they played well.
How much of Matt's running was protection breakdowns, was scrambling protection breakdowns, or just when he couldn't find somebody and he knew he had to go?
Well, I think a little bit of both. Obviously, we had some design quarterback runs. Others were, Matt would drop back into coverage. The lanes would open up. It wasn't so much a protection breakdown as it was that the lanes opened up and Matt saw an opportunity to take off and run, which was good. And that always puts stress on a defense when you're able to have a quarterback that can see the field and see the lanes open up. Obviously, you don't want him dropping back with the intent to run first, throw second. We want to drop back and go through his progressions and then be able to pull the ball down. But Matt was definitely kept some plays alive with his feet, which was really good to see.
Is there a number of carries you'd like to see him get in the game?
Yeah, and not that many. 24 is too many. Obviously, some of them were designed quarterback runs, and others weren't. He took some hits, and he can't continue to take hits like that through the course of the season. And so that's something that Coach Craddock will probably address and with y'all. But I know he's addressed in his quarterback meetings is to learn how to get the ball out of your hands. And so, but Matt, I think we all see that Matt is efficient with his feet, and he becomes definitely another threat.
You used 3 running backs and about 8 or more wide receivers. How do you think your guys handle all the personnel changes and also the pace of the offense?
Well, again, as a first game with a new staff, the players with a new staff, and for us to have 5 penalties for 40 yards was pretty remarkable, as much substitution as we did on and off the field. I thought it was very clean. I thought our guys knew where to go. They were on and off the field. They knew the substitution changes and rotations that we had, which I was very impressed with. I was very excited about our running backs. I think that those 3 guys right there, and I've said it last week in our press conference, those guys there are going to be really special for us. The 2 freshmen, Braden West and Xavier Jones, are very, very much hit. I mean, we hit on those guys. They're dynamic players and going to be phenomenal players through their time here. But they're freshmen, but they did some really good things. Wide receivers, again, you rotated with. I think we played 8. We had some guys, some true freshmen on and off the field. So overall, that was good. We've got to, again, the biggest thing when you start dealing with guys is they have to understand what your expectations are. And to give great effort is our expectation. And some of those young guys have been used to getting away with just giving good effort. And because they're so much more superior athletically than some of the guys they've been facing in high school, they were able to get away with it. And at this level, there's no way possible. And so they got to see that on film, and we'll continue to get better. Again, and defensively, things we've got to clean up on. Obviously, we've got to wrap up on contact. We were there on several occasions. We made contact. We got to continue to move our feet, not leave our feet. And against good players, once you leave your feet, they're strong enough to break you down. And we saw that with 246 yards after first contact. And then we have to be able to contest balls. We cannot just leave wide open guys and uncontested throws. And so those are some things that we definitely are working on, and we'll continue to get better.
Can you use games against other Texas teams as you recruiting tool? I mean, if you know, can you use that to your advantage with 4 of the first 6 against Texas teams?
Well, I think that obviously having a tough opener, I would say of anybody in our conference, we had the toughest opener of anybody. And I would say that the way that the game came out, played out, obviously we wanted to win the game. There was a lot of positives that we could take out of that. And I think that the experience of playing a game like that, now looking back on it, will only benefit this football program and football team in games to come. And so absolutely, there's things that we can build off of from a recruiting standpoint, from a program standpoint, from a fan standpoint, alumni standpoint. I've said it from the get-go, that was a gauge for us. That's an area we want to strive to be where they are, and not just for a half or two and a half quarters. And so those are definitely, we've got some ways to go, but I think that we can see that we've taken some steps in the right direction.
You talked about all the freshmen who played. Did you see any nerves or uncertainty from any of those guys getting thrown in right away in their first game?
You know, I really didn't, and that's a unique question. I actually thought about that this weekend. I mean, I really did, and I thought that our sidelines, from our coaching standpoint to the player standpoint, was very organized. It was very crisp. There was great communication among our players. There was a couple of times some true freshmen that told us some things out on the field that weren't as accurate after watching the film. Whether that was to save them a tail chewing on the sideline. They got it on Sunday anyways, so you might as well get it on game day. And so so they learned lessons that way. So that would probably be the only thing. But I thought, man, it was a calmness. It was a confidence. I think as the game went, especially that first half, that, you know, our guys were like, wow, you know, and matter of fact, we had one of our guys say something like that, and I'm like, well, dude, that's why we're here. I mean, we are here to score points now, and we're here to stop people, and so it was exciting. I mean, it's like everything we've been preaching and talking about, and just kind of came into basically reality, and so, but again, we're still a long way to go. We're not going to be satisfied with just a quarter or 2.5 quarters of football.
Braden West had to feel pretty good after his first touch, I guess.
Well, you know, we always talk about how can we impact the game in the special teams. We want to have the best special teams unit in the country. That's our goal. We feel like that we can impact the game from a special team standpoint. Our guys take unbelievable pride in it. And there's no question in my mind that his kickoff return impacted the first play of our offensive game. There's no doubt in my mind. So our kickoff return unit impacted the game early on. And we had a punt return, a punt that we could have returned. We had it set up and just we didn't catch it. And that's unacceptable, totally unacceptable. And we had an opportunity to have a big play there. But again, our guys are learning. They're learning what they expect of us, and on the sidelines and what we're expecting of them during a game situation and game setting. And you know, communication was crisp. It's got to continue to get better.
Coach, did you learn anything about yourself in your first game as a Division I head coach?
Well, I'm 0-1, so I learned that. You know, but you know, football's football. I mean, it really is, and you know, I learned that I've got to be better. Just as we're asking our players to be better, I've got to be better. We're asking our staff to be better, I got to be better. And so you know, we were good at making some adjustments. There was a couple of series in there that we weren't good, and so we go back and figure out why we weren't good. But you know, but that's going to be a part of every ball game. And but no, it was football. I mean, it was no different than me being on the sidelines at Lake Travis High School, as far as, you know, being a head coach and trying to manage a game. Obviously, the game is a lot faster, and the adjustments have to be made quicker. So, but
There were
I
guys-
definitely want to Baylor credit. They've had a good football team, but, and I don't want to overshadow our performance and with everything just talking about Baylor, because we're gonna play a football team that's a rival, and that's right up the road, and that embarrassed this football program and embarrassed us last year. And so that definitely needs to be, addressed by this football team, and we better have ourselves ready to go, and because ain't nobody patting us on the back right now. We lost a ball game, and we're gonna continue to get better, and that's what you asked. Last question.
There were guys on your bench, there was an energy and enthusiasm. I know you weren't here last year, but there was an energy and enthusiasm, including from the freshmen who didn't play and that kind of thing, who were dancing and loud and jumping around. Did that come from you and the coaching staff, or is that just their personality and their own energy?
Again, I don't know what they went through last year. I know what we've gone through, and I know what we're going to continue to build on. And it's all about energy and work ethic and accountability. And so the energy that we want on our sidelines is a direct reflection of how this program is going to be ran. And obviously it starts with Tremaine Carroll and our strength program, and the expectations he puts in on our players. And so, again, that's what we're used to. That's what we're going to do. So I don't know what they've done, but we're going to have energy, we're going to have excitement, and we're going to be into the ball game. It's, if not, they can buy a ticket and sit in the stands.